It's July 2020. A human rights lawyer in Morocco opens a text message on his iPhone. The message looks normal, maybe a little suspicious, but nothing alarming. He doesn't click the link. He deletes it and moves on with his day. But it's already too late. His phone is infected. Every message he sends, every call he makes, every password he types, someone is watching. His camera turns on without him knowing. His microphone records his private conversations. Everything he does, someone somewhere is collecting it all. The lawyer's name is Abdesadak El Bouchtawi, and he has no idea that the most sophisticated spyware ever created has just turned his phone into a weapon against him. His is Pegasus, a spyware so powerful it can break into any smartphone on Earth. It was built by a private company in Israel and sold to governments around the world. Governments promised they'd only use it to catch terrorists and criminals, but that's not what happened. Pegasus infected the phones of journalists, activists, lawyers, and even world leaders. It exposed their secrets, tracked their movements, and in some cases, it may have gotten them killed. This is the story of how one piece of software became the most dangerous surveillance tool in history. Tel Aviv, Israel, 2010. A group of former Israeli intelligence officers start a company. They call it NSO Group. Most of them worked for Unit 8200, Israel's elite cyber warfare division. Unit 8200 is basically Israel's version of the NSA. These aren't just programmers. They're some of the best hackers on the planet. They know how to break into systems that are supposed to be unbreakable. And now they're going into business. NSO Group has one product to sell, spyware, but not just any spyware. They're building something that's never existed before. Something that can infect a phone without the target doing anything wrong. No clicking a link, no downloading an app, nothing. Just send a message and the phone is yours. They call it Pegasus, named after the winged horse from Greek mythology. It can fly into any device and take complete control. Here's how it works. Traditional spyware requires the target to make a mistake. Click a bad link, download a fake app, something. But Pegasus doesn't need that. It uses what's called a zero-click attack. The target receives a message, maybe through WhatsApp, iMessage, or even a missed call. They don't need to open it. The spyware exploits a vulnerability in the phone's operating system, a backdoor that even Apple and Google don't know exists. Once inside, Pegasus has total access. It reads your texts, your emails, your encrypted messages on Signal and WhatsApp. It listens through your microphone. It watches through your camera. It tracks your location in real time. It steals your passwords, your photos, everything. And it does all of this invisibly. No warning, no notification. You'd never know it's there. By 2011, NSO Group starts selling Pegasus to governments. They pitch it as a tool to fight terrorism and serious crime. Need to catch a drug cartel leader? Pegasus can help. Tracking a terrorist cell? Pegasus is your answer. The company claims they only sell to legitimate governments and that buyers must agree to use it only for lawful purposes. According to NSO, they have strict controls in place. But here's the problem. Once you sell someone a weapon, you can't control how they use it. Mexico becomes one of the first customers. The Mexican government pays millions of dollars for Pegasus licenses. Officially, it's for fighting drug cartels. Mexico is in the middle of a brutal war against cartels like the Sinaloa and Los Zetas. Thousands of people are dying every year. The government says it needs every tool available to stop the violence. But Pegasus doesn't just go after cartel leaders. In 2017, investigators discover something disturbing. The Mexican government used Pegasus to spy on journalists and activists. One target is Carmen Aristegui, one of Mexico's most respected investigative journalists. She exposed corruption at the highest levels of government. Her phone was infected, so were the phones of her teenage son and her colleagues. Another target is a group of scientists and lawyers fighting against a soda tax. They wanted to reduce childhood obesity. The government infected their phones too. Why? Because they were convenient. They asked uncomfortable questions. They challenged people in power. This becomes the pattern. Governments buy Pegasus to fight crime. Then they use it to silence critics. Saudi Arabia buys Pegasus, so does the UAE, Bahrain, Kazakhstan, Rwanda, India, Hungary. At least 45 countries are believed to have purchased the spyware. And the stories keep coming. Journalists, human rights defenders, opposition politicians, all infected. One case stands out above all others. Jamal Khashoggi, in 2018. Khashoggi is one of the most prominent Saudi journalists in the world. He writes for the Washington Post, and he's critical of Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. On October 2, 2018, Khashoggi walks into the Saudi consulate in Istanbul, Turkey. He never walks out. Turkish intelligence later reveals that Saudi agents murdered him inside the consulate, dismembered his body, and disposed of the remains. The world is horrified. Investigations begin. And then researchers make a connection to Pegasus. Forensic analysis reveals that just days before his murder, someone tried to infect the phone of Khashoggi's wife using Pegasus. Another close associate of Khashoggi had his phone successfully infected. Saudi Arabia denies using Pegasus to track Khashoggi. NSO Group denies any involvement, but the timing is impossible to ignore. Did Pegasus help Saudi Arabia locate and monitor Khashoggi in the days before his murder? We may never know for certain, but the question haunts the entire surveillance industry. NSO Group keeps insisting they're the good guys. They say Pegasus has helped prevent terrorist attacks and save lives. They claim they investigate, misuse, and can remotely shut down the software if a client breaks the rules. But victims and researchers say that's not enough. If NSO really has the power to shut down Pegasus, why didn't they stop Mexico from spying on journalists? Why didn't they stop Saudi Arabia? By 2020, security researchers are getting better at detecting Pegasus. One organization leading the charge is Citizen Lab, a research group at the University of Toronto. They've been tracking NSO Group for years. Citizen Lab works with journalists and activists to scan their phones for infections, and they keep finding Pegasus everywhere. In 2021, they make their biggest discovery yet, a massive leak. Someone hands a list to journalists. The list contains more than 50,000 phone numbers. These are people who were selected as potential targets for Pegasus. The list includes heads of state, cabinet ministers, journalists, human rights activists, business executives. The leak becomes known as the Pegasus Project. Media outlets around the world investigate. They contact people on the list and offer to scan their phones. The results are staggering. At least 180 journalists in 20 countries were selected as targets. Phones bellow. Injing to 2 women close to Jamal Khashoggi were infected. The phone of French President Emmanuel Macron was on the list. So were phones of 14 other world leaders. In India, the phones of opposition politicians and journalists were infected. In Hungary, investigative reporters were targeted. In Morocco, that human rights lawyer, Abdesadak El Bouchtawi, his infection is confirmed. The world finally sees the full scale of what Pegasus has become. This isn't a tool for catching terrorists, it's a tool for governments to spy on anyone they want. Apple and Google start fighting back. Both companies issue emergency security updates to patch the vulnerabilities Pegasus exploits. But it's a cat-and-mouse game. NSO Group finds new vulnerabilities. Apple and Google patch them. NSO finds more. The cycle never ends. In 2021, Apple does something unprecedented. They sue NSO Group. Apple accuses the company of violating US laws and wants them banned from using any Apple software, services, or devices. It's a bold move. A tech giant going after a surveillance company in court. The US government also takes action. In November 2021, the Biden administration adds NSO Group to a trade blacklist. American companies can no longer do business with them. The decision cites evidence that NSO's tools were used to target US government officials and others. The walls are closing in on NSO. The company struggles financially. They lay off workers. They try to sell the company. But who wants to buy a surveillance firm that's banned in the US and facing lawsuits from Apple? NSO Group releases statements defending themselves. They say they're being unfairly blamed for their clients' actions. They insist they operate lawfully and that Pegasus has been used to save thousands of lives, but the damage is done. The Pegasus project exposed the surveillance industry's dirty secret. These tools aren't just used against terrorists, they're used against anyone inconvenient to people in power. Today, Pegasus still exists. NSO Group is still operating, though much weaker than before. Other companies have rushed in to fill the gap. There's Kandiru in Israel, Citrox in North Macedonia, Intellexa based in Greece. All selling similar spyware, all making the same promises, all creating the same risks. The surveillance industry is worth billions of dollars, and it's growing. What does this mean for the rest of us? Most people will never be targeted by Pegasus. You have to be important enough, dangerous enough to someone in power, but the existence of Pegasus changes everything. It proves that no phone is truly secure. Not an iPhone, not an Android, not anything. If a government wants to see what's on your phone, they probably can, and that power is being sold to anyone with enough money. The story of Pegasus is a story about power. Who has it? Who abuses it? And what happens when technology makes it impossible to hide? Governments have always spied on their enemies, but Pegasus made it easier than ever before. Point, click, infect, no warrants, no oversight, no accountability, just total access to someone's entire digital life. Jamal Khashoggi walked into that consulate in Istanbul, believing he'd walk back out. Journalists in Mexico believed their phones were private. Human rights lawyers in Morocco believed they were safe. They were all wrong. Pegasus proved that in the digital age, privacy is an illusion, and the people selling that illusion are making a fortune. The spyware that infected the world is still out there. Somewhere right now, someone's phone is being turned into a weapon against them, and they have no idea it's happening.